Hey everybody. I wish I could see the timestamp in OBS of the time, because I want to put... Oh, it does, right there, live, 3:15. Because I'm going to put timestamps in this video so people can watch it later in the replays. And I'm not even going to wait for people to show up. What's up, everybody? I was just talking to myself this whole time because the mic was off. But I'm going to throw timestamps into the video so that people watching the replay who actually want to find this content can find the part of the video they want to see. And I'm not even going to wait for people to show up for the live stream. I got the idea for this video last night when I stayed up after midnight and Amazon had a bunch of Cyber Monday deals that started for guitar pedals that I was looking at, and it was 20% off on a bunch of them. And I knew I wouldn't be able to record a video and edit it and have it up in time for Sunday night. So this just makes it easy to do a live stream, get everything thrown out so people could see the stuff that I found, stuff that I got some of these things. Let's see, what time are we at on the timestamps now? We are at 4:35. Okay. That's the Donner ABY box. So what an ABY box is, it makes it so that you can have, well, 3 different configurations. And the first one is you have your guitar signal coming in on the Y port on the right here, and then you have split out to 2 different ones, and you see the little switch goes back and forth between the different settings, A, B, or A and B. A and B combines, and A/B splits. So like in the first scenario, let's say you want to run chorus and phaser in parallel instead of having one affect the other. Instead have both, separate and then combined later. How I would probably do that is have this in A/B mode, A and B, to combine using the right side as an input and 2 outputs on the left. And then have the 2 effect chains, and then use another one of these also in combine mode, but flipped around so that the inputs are on the left and the outputs on the right. This is the only pedal type where you can use the output side as an input. Another way you could use this pedal is if you want to switch between 2 different effects. So we're talking about chorus and phaser. Let's say you've got chorus on the A and phaser on the B, and you put it in A/B mode, and you step on the pedal switch to switch between the 2 pedals instead of having to press and turn one pedal off and turn the other pedal on during that part of your song. And here's the instruction manual that I loaded up. And Donner is one of the websites that getting their manuals difficult, so I had to Google it and find some off the wall place. But anyways, basically what I described, C is a mode select switch between A and B and A, between A/B and A and B modes. Can you tell that I edit a lot of this out in my regular videos when I say something wrong? And the light changes between red, green, and yellow to tell you what mode it's in. Sorry, what time are we? Now I'm doing the discovery stuff. Other stuff I discovered on this page. Got a tuner on there, a chorus, compressor. Most important pedal of all is a compressor. And looking at this compressor, it's interesting. It's got the level and tone. Let's click it. Show me what the 3rd knob is. Oh, the amount of compression. So that's how much compression. So this, it's a cheap pedal. It's not going to give you attack and sustain and stuff like that. But $30 to get a compressor, and it's got normal and treble. So I'm curious about that. Is it compressing just treble, or does it boost treble? You have to go to the website and read the instructions to find that out, and listen to videos on YouTube. What's the next one? Blue Modulation. The Mod Square. I do not have this pedal. It was one that I was looking at before, though. It's got two kinds of chorus, a phaser, a tremolo, a rotary, vibrato, and a flanger. It's a lot of choices. Blue Overdrive, so I'm assuming this is a Blues Breaker clone. And the green Noise Gate. Okay, Noise Gate. And a Verb Square. Oh, Verb Square. I don't have this one either. I have the Echo Square, which is delay, a bunch of different delay types. But this has got room, hall, church, spring, plate, studio, and modular. Modular reverb. I haven't tried that yet. I do want to try that someday. An auto wah for that quacky quacky quack sound. Why are you showing me a freaking chip? That shouldn't be the default picture, thanks. This is also a filter pedal if you use it with a synth. And then, what's this one? A distortion pedal. An octave pedal. Just haven't tried this yet. I've heard some interesting things done with octave pedals. And then a looper. It's got 3 loops that it can do on top of each other. That's cool. And then a white tuner. So for some reason it's got a black one and a white one there. Whatever. It says Donner on it. Looks exactly like my Mooer tuner, except it says Donner. And then the yellow fall. That's a delay pedal. Sorry, what times? Timestamps. Time. We've got 10:15. There's a lot of pedals on there. This is a pedal I was putting off getting for a while. It's a stereo multi-modulation pedal with 5 controls. And how many does it say? Get out of here, freaking honey. You're not in this scene. How many? 11? I don't want to turn my neck. Let's look at the manual. Where's your different things? Chorus, flanger, tremolo, phaser, vibrato, rotary, liquid. Liquid, like Metal Gear. But it says it's a square wave, right? And then Ottawa, stutter, which is another square wave. So I'm very curious what these two are and how they're different from each other. And a ring modulator and a low bit rate. So I've used a low bit rate before and they put it in different places. I've seen it on a reverb. I have it on a delay pedal where you're doing a low bit rate on the delays. And since it's stereo, I was thinking of using it with, I'm on the wrong thing, the ABY box and messing around with synths. You're going to find out more about this in the video. Hold on, I'm going to text my son, tell him that I'm streaming. Of course, he might have school tomorrow. Probably has school tomorrow. It's not that late. It's only 6:40 p.m. where we're at. So I'm thinking a little bit of modulation. Also, another thing you could do if you put a modulation in a certain sequence, you can create ambient sounds. And for ambience, I prefer stereo. And for some other discoveries down here, you've also got a cab sim. It's got 7 different cabs in it. Delay pedal's got 7 different delays. A drum loop. So obviously a drum generator. I've heard people use the drum loop thing with the Boss pedal called a slicer that just takes a slice of what it hears and then like does an arpeggio on that. That might be trippy. A preamp. It's got 7 different preamp sounds. So I need to learn more about preamp versus cab sim, because I've got pedals that have both in one. And then this one I've been looking at too, which is 7 different kinds of reverb. Reverb for me has to be stereo. It's the end of my pedal chain before it goes in a mixer, and then the mixer goes into my computer. Alright, timestamp for the next pedals is 13:30. This is a vocal pedal, as in, I don't know why, but it's got guitar in and out and also microphone in and out. Like this, one of these other ones, I don't know where it is. It's not one of these, but it does the vocoder effect, where you can use your voice to affect the guitar. But this one, I'm not sure why it's got guitar input and output, because all of these are vocal pedals. I think this one is a knockoff of this TC Helicon. I mean, why this was in my watch list? Get out of here, honey. Jiminy Christmas, every time I turn around. I'm not using you right now. Where'd it go? The TC Helicon wasn't in stock for the longest time. So I had put this one on my watch list, and as you can see, there's no guitar input and output. There's just the microphone. And this has this tone button, which I'm really super interested in, and I'm hoping the FLAMMA does the same thing, which is it de-esses your voice. So you got that sound that like sits on top of your voice when you're talking, that you don't really hear it until you record it. This will cut it out. And on top of that, it's got delay and reverb that it can add to your vocals. And the most important thing is pitch correction, where it tries to detect what note you're playing, what note you're singing close to, and then alters the pitch of what it hears to snap to that note. And then the higher you turn up this knob, the more correction you get. And for discoveries, you know, you've got Blue Harmony, which I think I'm not sure what the difference between that and the doubling one is. It's where it plays your voice again at another octave along with it. And then you've got the character pedal, which I think does like robot voices and stuff. I'm also interested in getting that one someday. Alright, timestamps for the next pedal. My son finally joined the stream. He says Cyber Sunday. Yeah, well, that's because Amazon started the Cyber Monday deals last night at midnight. And thanks for showing up, Charlie, because at least I got one person watching the stream. And you missed this earlier, but the reason why I'm streaming instead of just making a video is because I wanted to get it out sooner while people still had a chance to do their Cyber Monday shopping. So the timestamp is 16:38 for the next one. This is an envelope filter. This is kind of like a auto wah, and some people may argue that, come on, Jimmy, every time I change tabs, there's honey again. And some people may argue it is an auto wah, and the reason why I avoided these like a plague before, because I wanted to avoid the quacky quack sound of like playing your guitar and making it go waka 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 waka. I didn't want that. But it turns out that these were made actually back in the day with modular synthesis. So you can imagine the crazy rack that people have with like a billion wires going everywhere. I'm like, oh man, I have to empty some of my brain out to learn how to do that someday, but this is going to make it easier for me to learn it one step at a time. One of these pedals I'm going to talk about later is a synth pedal. But you put a filter after a synth, and what that does is it filters out or pushes, I'm not sure, I have to learn it, a particular frequency of what it's hearing. And I made sure to get one with a Q knob, because when I saw a video that explained what the Q knob did, I immediately understood, because I've mastered songs before and it's the EQ range. So you've got a high Q, looks like this, so it's pretty narrow at the bottom and it's pointy at the top, so whatever frequency you are here, it's going to push that frequency up and not so much down here. But then you turn the Q knob down counterclockwise and it does this. So now it's pushing more frequencies but not as high, so it's a smoother sound. And I'm thinking that's going to sound really cool. If I really want a frequency to be punchy, I'm going to turn that up and then adjust the tone knob left and right. I can't talk right. Left and right, depending on what frequency I want to do. The decay, I think that is like how slow, fast or slow the wave is. So that waka 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 sound. And the sensitivity is how sensitive it is to the guitar sound or the synth sound coming through it. Here's a discovery that I found while scrolling and looking for that pedal to buy it. They have a modulation pedal, and it's got chorus, flanger, tremolo, phaser, vibrato, rotary, liquid, which is a new one. I still want to try that. I haven't tried it yet. Auto-wah, which is what we were talking a moment ago. Stutter, again, that's new to me. Ring modulator and low bit rate. So I'm wondering how they would do the low bit rate, as in having your clean sound and a like scratchy sound at the same time together, whereas the one that I have that has low bit rate is a delay, so the low bit rate comes later. That scratchy sound sounds pretty trippy. So that's the end of the ones that I got on the Cyber Monday deal. But I did get some on the Black Friday deal, just a couple. And what's the timestamp for that one? So we can write it down. 2024. So people could skip to the pedal they want to see. This is the synth pedal. I've already got... What models are you? You're in this scene. Grab my flashlight. My pedals are all disorganized. Show this. This is a bass synth. Okay. Here, put it in front of me. I also have this is a Behringer BSY 600, and I also have the Boss pedal that it's based off of. The problem is like it's got resonance, frequency, decay rate, and 11 modes, and it's overwhelming, and I have to write down all the stuff in it, what I'm doing, to remember what settings to use. And this one has a save button, okay, right here. And here's a manual. Again, this is a second website that doesn't know how to display their manuals correctly, so I have to go Google it somewhere, and someone has it on Google Drive. Thank you, random person. And it won't let me zoom more. So these are the modes I want to talk about just for a second. Trumpet-like synthesizer, an arpeggiator. That's cool. If you guys don't know what an arpeggiator is, it's when you play... Oh, thanks, Charlie, about Newegg starting the event last night at midnight. An arpeggiator is when you play one note. It has a pattern that plays after it. It goes da 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 da. And fancy synthesizers will let you choose which notes to play afterwards and which ones not to. So, for example, on, off, on would be like da 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 da, right? And in more complicated patterns and such, which someday I'm going to have a synthesizer like that. The one I want is called Novation Mini Nova. Organ-like with an arpeggiator is mode 2, mode 3, a C wave warm synthesizer tone with an LFO. Arpeggiator is off by default, and then when you turn the mix up over 50, the tone can be affected by the mix. Sounds very interesting. I'm thinking C-wave like warm synthesizer with an LFO effect. Well, LFO is not an effect. It's a low frequency oscillator, and that's how modulation pedals work, is that you have the oscillator going and it changes the resistance in the circuit up and down, and then you can have that modulation control the voltage to something else. So for example, a chorus pedal is clean sound mixed with the pitch up and down. So as the LFO goes up and down, the pitch goes up and down, and then you blend that in to your guitar sound. Mode 4, Wii-O. Like, what the heck? Bright tone with quick changes in the LFO. Okay. Mode 5, saw wave synthesizer, which is probably going to be one of my favorites because the saw wave is very close to a fuzz. And on my keyboard, there's only two sounds I like. I don't know why, maybe it's just my preference, is piano and the saw. Mode 6, 8-bit like synthesizer tone. Low bit rate. Hear that, Charlie? Excuse me. Low, like 8-bit synthesizer sound. That's cool. Maybe like 80s video game soundtracks. Mode 7, which I'm super interested in. It's like, get out of here, Zoom controls. I'm trying to talk to the peeps. Okay, I'll scroll it down. EDM, they immediately say electronic dance music, whatever. Pad-like synthesizer. Good, because it's one of the hardest things for me to do when I'm trying to build my music, is to have a pad background. And this combined with the stereo modulation pedal that I showed you guys earlier is my hopes that I could make those. So we've got other pedals on this page. I've got a bunch of Mooer pedals, but these are a little bit more expensive. So $83 instead of $95 right now on the Cyber Monday deal. You've got this is a reverb pedal with 7 different reverb types in it. You've got this delay pedal with 7 different types of delay. And you've got this other reverb. Now, ambient reverb, I guess? If it were me and I truly love this pedal, I would probably get 2 of them so I could have stereo. Except that. Check this out. This is something you want to know. Sometimes, for a stereo effect, you get 2 different mono pedals that are like different brands and styles, whatever, to have a really weird effect because your brain is trying to put the 2 sounds together, but they're completely different things happening. Another thing you do is get 2 of the same pedal. Another thing you could do is get a third pedal. And what's different between getting 2 of the same pedal, where, you know, one of them, the settings are slightly different. Or even if they're the same, the LFO is not starting and stopping at the same time. You know what I mean? Or the delay. There's no LFO in a delay. But anyways. The other thing you do is you get a stereo pedal, and what happens is that the LFO, or the delay, goes back and forth between the left side and the right side. That's going to be in a different effect. That's why I have stereo pedals for some things. Alright, timestamp for the next section. 2650. This is another Mooer pedal. I have a bunch of Mooer pedals. Their envelope filter, which also has a Q knob, which I totally need. Decay and tone, just like the other one. And the sensitivity. And I was looking at the Donner one first because it's cheaper. Obviously, this is $60. But even at twice as much cost, I love my Mooer pedals. I've never had one that I didn't like. I recently got rid of one because I got something better. I gave it to a friend, though, that I hope that he ends up using it. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute in the honorable mentions section. Other pedals on this page. Acoustic car, which is one of those effects where you make a electric guitar sound like an acoustic one. You see how it's got the switch for piezo standard or jumbo. So piezo is a type of pickup, and then in standard and jumbo I'm thinking that's going to be a regular sized acoustic guitar. Jumbo is going to be the dreadnought size. It's a guess. So 3 different tonalities there, and then an equalizer, which is a delay, and a hustle drive. The hustle drive is the one that I gave to a friend. It sounds like the, what is it? I wrote it down. It's based off of the Full Tone OCD, which is a boutique pedal. And then the ABY switch, which we talked about earlier. Of course, I got a different one. Did I get a different one? Yeah, I got the Donner for 30, and this is $50. It's not even on the Cyber Monday deal. Whatever, it's just a switch inside. There's no actual stuff going on except showing you different color LEDs. The Solo, I think that is an overdrive pedal, and a yellow compressor. Now with Mooer, they make a lot of clones. I'm just going to say it. But they also make unique stuff, so I recommend you check out their website, poke around, watch some videos on their stuff. I have a pedal from them that's totally unique. It's called the Slow Engine, which is like you turn the volume down on your guitar, pluck a note, and you turn the volume up slowly, and it automatically does it. And based on where you put the knob is how quickly it does it, so you have to change your technique to match the knob and vice versa. Like, oh, I want to play a little bit faster, so you want to turn the knob up to be more sensitive. Alright, now we're moving on to honorable mentions. I'm going to grab a timestamp, and we are at 3013. And we've got the Pitch Box, which I almost can't talk tonight. I almost bought because I've been watching Star Wars Andor, and I noticed that their soundtrack sounds like a detoned synthesizer from the 70s, and it sounds glorious. So I'm going to be messing around with the synth pedals and filters and all that, and splitting and combining with the ABY switches. And I might want to try detuning. But then I realized, wait, a chorus pedal is detuning. If you just turn down the dry mix, or the clean guitar sound, and turn up the affected. And that's what vibrato is, I think. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So I already have a chorus pedal. And I'm also getting another chorus pedal, the multi-modulation thing. So I'm going to have ways to experiment with that there. I still might get one of these later, but it's mono. So I would make struggle face noises there. Unless it was in one of the 2 parallel paths. Ooh. I'm getting ideas. Mooer. There's the hustle drive I was talking about, which I already talked about it, but if somebody skipped to this timestamp, I should tell you about it. It is a clone of the Full Tone OCD. It is a low gain overdrive pedal, and in my opinion it sounds 90% okay. You can dial it in, okay? And if you got it, I would recommend that you grab another overdrive pedal that's your favorite and stack them, and the other one be better than this at tones, so that you can shape your tone better. Because this one, it's hard. It's like the mid-range and the upper highs weren't always there, depending on what I was doing on my guitar, and it made me want to get into my guitar and do the treble bleed knob, because I was losing my high ends. But then at the same time, I just built a dual overdrive pedal, which is a clone of the Analog Man King of Tone, and I realized that because I did mods on one side, I was having the same problem as this, which I didn't have my upper mids and my highs. because I was trying to make it sound retro or old school or whatever. So this, maybe just get 2 of this same pedal. Go watch some videos on YouTube about it. I still highly recommend this one. I have this baby tuner. Looks exactly like the white Donner one, and I use it every time before I play. And it's like, it's a tuner. It mutes your signal when it's on, and it shows you the note you're at. The only time I have problems with it is with tuning the low string on my bass guitar. I was thinking of getting one that goes on the headstock for that, because most pedal tuners have that issue, unless you get a really expensive one. Then you've got this Donner delay pedal, multi-delay, the Echo Square. I looked this one up on purpose to show you guys, because I have this and I love it. It's on all the time for me. If I'm in mono, I'm using this. If I'm stereo, I'm using this and a mono price, just generic delay, where this is on one side and the mono price one is on the other side. The things sound like what they're supposed to be. Modular delay, which I can't really wrap my head around. Digital sounds digital, analog sounds glorious. I use that most of the time. The reverse one I use sometime, and the sweep I'm not really into. But the lo-fi one, it puts lo-fi on your delay trails, where you have your clean signal followed by a scratchy sound, and the feedback is how you make it more scratchy or less scratchy. I use this pedal so much, let's say it's, put it this way, that I know, not memorized like I could just tell you 100%, but when I switch to analog or to lo-fi or reverse, I immediately go down and turn the knobs where they're supposed to be. Like I think the mix is at 10 o'clock for, no, it's 9 o'clock for lo-fi. Feedback is at 10 o'clock, and the time is like at 9 o'clock. It's like everything turned down. And then the analog or the reverse, it's, I don't remember which ones. At the mix it turned up maybe 12 o'clock, feedback 10 o'clock or whatever. I'm sorry, I wish I could remember. I just sit and twiddle, and it only takes me a second. But all I'm saying is that I use it all the freaking time. What else is on here? Anything new that I haven't talked about earlier? Yes, the Dark Mouse. That is a Rat overdrive clone. And what a Rat is high gain overdrive. And you've also got whatever the heck this is. It's only showing me the on-off button. Where are you? Emo amp controller? Oh, that's a send and return to turn on and off stuff on an amp. Okay, some amps have that. And what are you, golden tremolo? Okay, you're golden. Wave? Donner Wave? What the heck is that? Two-way tone switch. Level, time, feedback. Warm or digital. A classic warm. Oh, it's a delay pedal. Okay. The Wave. That might be a clone, or it might be one of their unique pedals. Who knows? This says stylish fuzz, but every time I try to look at something, they got this stupid diagram of a stupid circuit in front. Volume, tone, and sustain. Okay, that's your basic fuzz. Well, your basic fuzz is just one knob. Volume, tone, and sustain, that's like a fuzz face from the 70s. That's what it had. You get a little more geeky on a fuzz pedal. You have a, come on, what is it? A bias knob, which controls how much of your tone is clipped to ground. And then you get even more geeky, then you need to know what kind of transistors are in it. Extreme driver, there's another overdrive. That's probably another high gain overdrive like the Rat, but with a different tone. And the switches are tube, something, and normal. There we go. Tube, ultra, and normal. Interesting. And then, what the heck is this? That's a looper pedal. Okay, a looper pedal's a looper pedal. And that is the end of this live stream. And we are at 38 minutes. And nobody's talking to me in chat. So, people watching the replay, I'll see you in the comments. So thanks for watching.